Yo, what's good, family? So I was trying to get the video out before it hit 334, but the time right now was the 334. I'm up with the birdies. Y'all can see that, right? I think that's 334. So in the morning, like I said, we don't fake it at all. I think this is a beautiful time to make this video. I got all the lights on right now because it means something. I'm going to show an example right now of that's fuck. Hold on. Like I said, hear me out. Watch the full video. So pretty much, I cut on all the TVs. I cut on all the lights in my home right now to represent that as our brain, as our mind. That's always chaotic and that's always on. So pretty much, this video will be on if life gets too overwhelming, if life gets too hard, gets too crazy, gets too scary, horrific. Like if you go through a lot, if you're a high performance person, like for example, if you make a high performance person, I would consider that over 100,000. If you make over 100,000, you are considered something called a high value individual. Really, 120,000 after taxes. You're considered a high value individual, and you're considered a high performance person. So that means whether you like it or not, you probably faced burnout before, and that's probably what I have right now. And we have something called brain fog, and everybody gets this. This happens when you multitask. This what happens when you keep going nonstop, like I am right now. Like I wake up at 4 in the morning and go hard all the way till 10 p.m. at night, and sometimes I don't go to sleep in the correct way we're supposed to be going to sleep as humans. Because the past, I wouldn't say the past week, but like for a long time, I've been falling asleep on the couch, and my body has been forcing myself to go to sleep. Like for example, I be on my phone, like something in me makes me want to put the phone down and just lay down. Like I don't expect to go to sleep, but it's like just to rest for a minute. You know what I mean? So like I said, and we live in America, so we always have to continuously make money and all this good stuff and have second incomes, third incomes. We got kids and a whole bunch of other responsibilities. So, like I said, this is for everybody, for every single person on this earth. Whether you have kids, just people that you have to take care of, your job it requires for you to do a lot. You're looking at the news, so you're constantly absorbing information, so you never really get a time to sit with yourself, like really get to sit with yourself and not think. Because even when we sit with ourselves, like in silence or whatever, we still may be thinking like, oh, I didn't pay all my bills, I didn't. We have something called trauma. We've been through a lot. We've been through a lot of our life. We've been through a lot in our lives, and we never really got to sit down with ourselves. Because sometimes we probably been. I would say, some people have been shot at, some people have been shot, some people have been in toxic family situations. Pretty much, a lot of people have been traumatized from life in general, and whether they accept it or not, it did affect them. So, so like I said, I'm gonna do this demonstration in this physical activity that we could do. Like I said, we could all be doing this at the same time. It's a very good message. So I'm gonna walk around the house real quick. This is gonna represent our mind, and this is gonna represent us being always on. So, all right, let's do it. So I'm gonna start from the basement. I'm gonna go all the way upstairs. I cut on all the TVs and all that stuff to let that know that our minds are always on, and we have to literally shut it off. You get me? Because I didn't want to like I wanted to go deep, and this is deep, but I want to be practical. Because like I said, you see this light, you see this TV, that's our brain. Not literally, but as in it's always being on, it's constantly and it don't stop. So we have to literally pick a time, which I think at nighttime, because it's like I said, it's energy in it. Like I said, remember I talked about the spiritual energy around 2 a.m. from about 4:30 a.m. I recommend doing it around this time, even though it's early. But you should, like I said, we have to invest in ourselves, and we have to make a lot of sacrifices, and we do this whether we like it or not. Especially if you're an adult, like this is for everybody. So, all right, and I think I have at least an hour, but I'm gonna try to get them. I'm trying to get the videos out quick. The day is Tuesday. I started this video. Well, I started this YouTube channel last Tuesday. So if you see that first video of me showing my room all messy, this basement messy, like I said, that's another thing too. The environment being messy. Like I said, you have to leave all that stuff behind right now. Like I said, I still didn't clean my room. Everything's still messy. Just wore them jeans yesterday, $500 jeans and shit. Like I said, the room still looks all messy. Like I said, I'm in the same boat as y'all, looking chaotic and because like I said, we don't have time to be cleaning up. That's why people get maids and everything. People think, oh, you don't need maid or you can take time out your day to clean, but no, a lot of people don't have time for that. Just you know, like I said, all we have is 24 hours in a day. We have to spend 8 hours if we're fucking lucky to sleep. So, and like I said, there's other countries right now where it's nighttime. I'm in Prince George's County, Maryland, America. But if remember I showed y'all at the harbor how we had the Japanese tree in Japan right now, their time is totally different. They're 10 hours away from us. So either I think they're in the afternoon right now. It's 3:41. We knocked the fuck out right now. You know while y'all sleep right now, this shit is going on. You know what I mean? While you was slobbing on the pillow and shit, I was making these videos. People was out here getting it. Even at this time right now. So like I said, pretty much what that's a perfect example of what I'm saying. How we're always on the move, and we have to make that conscious decision, like how I'm doing right now, to make this video. That's why I recommend this is the only thing you should be doing right now. And if you want, you can do what I said. You can cut on the lights and cut on the TV, but this is the example. So right. So let's get it started. Like I said, the time is 3 in the morning. I recommend at least taking 3 hours out of your day. It doesn't take 3 hours, but if you really want to be effective, like if you really, really want to reset your mind and for it to be clean and for it to be pretty much reset and for you to be rejuvenated and to get the best out of this experience. If you want to get the best out of this experience, you need to do this for at least 3 hours. And that sounds like a lot, but like I said, it's a good investment. Because once this video is finished, you'll be like, wow, how the fuck did he find this? Like I said, I had to do a lot. You know what I mean? And like I said, you can search the stuff up yourself, but some of this stuff is considered pseudoscience. But if you could do the work yourself, because I'm sure there's like actual scientific practices. Like I'm sure there's an actual practice. I just don't know the name. They be having all these long words. You know what I mean? But the fact still remains. Like this is the all natural. You know what I mean? Because like I said, if we never went to school, if we didn't, if we weren't a first world country, this stuff wouldn't exist. So Yeah, as you can see, I'm just doing this with a camera and I'm looking crazy and everything. But like I said, you should be doing this exact thing that I'm doing. But this is pretty much the intro. I'm already 10 minutes in. Okay, so let's reset it. So I don't have the TV on. I don't have the TV sound right now. But pretty much, let's say, like how it's silent right now. Let's say you're in New York right now, and it's nothing but cars just flowing and honking and all that type of stuff. So let's say that's going on right now. So your mind can't even like see how it's silent right now. A lot of people don't get these environments, and you have to do this in that type of environment. It has to be completely silent. That's why I like to do it in the morning time, where because everybody knocked the fuck out. You know, you may hear like an animal or something howl or something, but that's nature. You'll be if you was in the woods, it would have been even worse. So, like I said, our mind is going crazy right now. We're burnt out, all that good stuff. Not good stuff, but all that toxic stuff. So, you're gonna relax. It's gonna be all chaotic right now. You're gonna close your eyes. While all this is going on, it's gonna be chaotic. It's gonna be like, for example, let's say you got kids right now. They screaming. They doing all this nut shit. So while this is all going on, this is gonna look wild. Just while all this is going on, you have to do something called the art of detachment. You have to detach from every single aspect of your life to do this. And a lot of people are scared to do this, but it's even if you look crazy, even if it makes you look weird, even if they get mad, I'm not saying neglect your people, but I'm saying make that conscious decision for you to literally save your life, and you could be a better family member, partner, associate, friend, all that good stuff once you do this. Because a lot of us, we live such an irritating lifestyle where everything is just, it's annoying and we can't really, you know. Okay. So, like I said, everything's going on right now. You're going to just lay back and just chilling. It's going to lay back. And your mind is going to be racing, by the way. It's going to be, but turns out that's not even our thoughts. That's just our brain just flowing, because that's what it's supposed to be doing. But just ignore all of it. Every single thought that comes to your mind, because it's not us. It's literally not us. You know. So just close your eyes and just breathe. And y'all could probably hear in the background. I have a TV upstairs. Like I said, everything's chaotic. So you're gonna exhale. All the way down till there's no more breath in you. And I know it's gonna feel weird. It may hurt a little bit. It shouldn't hurt, but it may feel like uncomfortable because you're not breathing, and you may be kind of out of shape or whatever. But at this point, you should have been walking, so you shouldn't be too bad. So, and like I said, I recommend doing this at 2 in the morning where everybody's asleep, where you can have time to do this. You should make time in the day, because you should be on a set routine and schedule by now. So you should already have your schedule set and everything. So you should already have time in your day, which I'm sure. This time would have been you getting something to eat, maybe going to the bar or doing something of that nature. Pretty much your entertainment, recreational. You know what I mean? I recommend doing all your responsibilities first, where you have time to bullshit like this. Because I could, like I said, I was chaotic too at one time. I did all the practices, and you know, because y'all probably like, it's not that hard. It's hard, but you gotta do it. We're adults. We got to do things that's hard, whether we like it or not. You know, like I said, this is all mandatory stuff. I don't want to do this. You know, but I found this practice. I found these practices that we all can use for all races, genders, ages. You know, Like it's not like I'm doing backflips and shit. You know what I mean? Okay. So the time is 3:49, and right now this would have been time I've been just waking up. And like I said, I'm gonna do a routine video of what I do in the morning every single day. And like I said, that's why I wake up at 4 in the morning. It's a sacrifice. So so like I said, around this time you would not be saying anything, you wouldn't be doing anything, not even thinking, because we like to be in our heads during this time, because it would get too boring or it would be too quiet. It'd be like, oh shit, and then you'll start thinking, and you could let it flow, but see how I'm making this conscious decision to express these thoughts and all that type of stuff. You have to just let it flow. It would be like how it's quiet right now. It would be like chicken strips. I got somewhere to be. I wonder what so and so's doing. It's like that type of stuff. But you just gotta let it pass. You just gotta. The best way. Well, sure. When we're quiet and you can hear it in our mind, like in our tongue, it's like in the we're touching the root of our mouth, if you will. Like when we're thinking, it's like in the. This is gonna be TMI, but y'all see that? Y'all see the little I think it's called a ovula or whatever, the little thing in the back of our throat, the little that look like a punching bag. It's like when we're thinking, that's clicking. You know what I mean? For example, like let's think right now. I'm gonna say this in my mind. I love living life to the highest forms. So instead of saying it with your mouth, it's gonna be no homo, but it's gonna be in the back of your throat and it's gonna be clicking. You know? So it's gonna be like, and I know that sounds silly, but if you have that self awareness, you'll tell because I don't know if it's really in the back of your throat, but it's like right there, it's like in the back of your head, you know. It may be like the top part of your spine, higher than that. It feels like literally in the middle part of your head. I don't have any hair, so right here. Like if you touch the back of your head, it's like a it's like a stem or whatever. You know what I mean? Because we have a spine and all that. But touch the back of your head, you'll feel like a skinny bump in the back of your head. That's our thinking process. That's like the start of the spine. Like if some that's why they say in boxing, don't hit behind the head. You know, there's the little piece in the back of our head, like that's I guess that's called our nervous system or whatever. And that's part of our brain. So if you keep hitting that, this you're gonna cut off. And you probably won't be able to think and you won't be able to move and all that type of stuff. So like I said, that's that part where you'll like once you're quiet for a long time, you'll start feel that in the back of your head because you're thinking. Because like when you're thinking, you can feel it in your this is called a temple. So if you do like this with your tongue, just tap it on the tap it on the top part of your mouth, just like the back part of your tongue, like heart. This you'll feel it, like the root part of your mouth and all that good stuff. So like I said, and see, I'm already 18 minutes in. These videos be so long. But okay, so long story short, you're gonna do this. Like I said, you have to sacrifice the time. So just close your eyes. And like I said, it's not gonna feel 100%. Your mind is still gonna feel like it's racing at this time because it's gonna feel like you can't relax. Because as soon as you close your eyes, it's gonna feel like you're gonna feel something called being anxious. It's gonna be like while I'm doing this, just chilling, just I feel this in my body. It's like I gotta keep going, gotta keep going, gotta keep going. Like I'm shooting these music videos, not music videos, these YouTube videos. I'm like I gotta keep doing these videos. I got time. I have to. I don't have time to do all this. You know. I'm trying to beat every single aspect of time. You know. So and like I said, you're not gonna be doing nothing. You're just relaxing. Like I said, your body should be completely rested and everything. And if you want to do this the best way, I recommend going to sleep and then waking up. So if you can put an alarm on for 2 a.m. or something. Okay. And I want you to do this many times as you need to. While all the lights are on, while everything is chaotic. Like everything's gonna still be hitting you right now. Like I said, there's gonna be noise and everything. So you're pretty much saying, like this is pretty much a nice version of saying, fuck every single thing in this world. I'm done. I'm at my rock bottom, and I need peace. That's pretty much what this is. So you're pretty much saying, fuck everything. Like that. That's the best way could explain it as American. Like that's the highest form. And if you really, really, really want to do this, I suggest, like I said, having all your responsibilities in order. Make sure you have money saved, and pretty much not be in survival mode. You have to really. This is pretty much getting yourself out of survival mode, if you will. So time is 3:55. And like I said, y'all shouldn't even be looking at me right now. We should all be doing the same exact thing. Every single person that clicks on this video. If you're not doing that, you're behind, and you need to click off the video. This isn't for you. Like I said, this isn't for entertainment. Well, I guess you could call it entertainment, but this is serious work. This is like being at a doctor's appointment or doing surgery or something. This is very, very deep. This is very, very psychological. I'm pretty sure people go to school for this, and like I'm sure these are, what is that word? Like I said, see how my mind's flowing. It's treatments. They may be like pseudoscience treatments. Like for example, how they just passed the Joe Rogan and Donald Trump. They're doing psychedelics now. So all this stuff is the truth. You know what I mean? So okay. So pretty much that was relaxing and all that stuff. Hold on, let me do a good represent. So you're gonna inhale, then do a huge exhale through the nose. Then you're gonna get up slow and open your eyes. And I recommend going to the most silent area that you can to do this because we're still not done. Okay. So like I said, this represents our mind. So after doing that technique, or everything's on, everything is still going to be rushing and everything. You're going to be nice and slow. You're pretty much going around saying, I remove all those responsibilities right now to elevate my life. So it's going to be quiet. So let's get started. This is our first responsibility. Let's say going to work. Fuck going to work. Fuck the career. Forget all that stuff. That's not you. It's a part of you, but it's not you. That's that downstairs light. That's, let's say, toxic relationships at work or people that you're forced to talk to. Don't think about them. Next, this would be bills. This would be the materialistic things. The bills, relationships, your wants, your desires, everything. Cut it all off. Every single thing. This is called detachment. Every single thing. Like I said, this represents our mind. Every single thing is just cutting it all off. Like I said, it's about to be 4 o'clock right now. Like I said, the stuff is it's the truth. Yes, I didn't cut this light on, but TV. This is probably like, let's say y'all at my age. Uh, People telling you get a job. People telling you you have to have a career. You may be behind in life. You may be thinking it's too late for all this type of stuff. Every single aspect. Every single thing. And see how nice and quiet it is? This literally represents our mind. This is supposed to be every single thing. Oh, that's perfect. The news. That has nothing to do with us. Unless you're really trying to go fight. Like, it really, this stuff does not matter. It, I'll tell you when it really matters. You see how they're talking on this TV? When shit hits the fan like that, that's the news. You get me? When shit hits the fan like that, that's when it's time to get ready. You know? And we have no idea when that happens. So like I said, it can our lives can end at any moment. You know what I mean? So that's why you gotta say fuck this shit. You see how quiet it is, you see how dark? You see how we still got that light on now? You feel me? We still have stuff that we have to do. Because our mind is still chaotic. Like I said, we was just in the basement. Like I said, we're cutting all this stuff off. Every single thing. You see how our mind was just chaotic? This is our brain. Completely shut off, not thinking. And it may be kind of scary to people. Because I'm not really afraid of the dark. A long time ago, when I was a kid, I used to be afraid of the dark. But it turns out that was for good reason, because there's actually, the spirits and demons and all that type of stuff. So, like I said, we're not at that level yet. You know what I mean? Okay. So, like I said, another part in the house that's chaotic. Like I said, you would have been walking around the house like you may live with family. More than likely, you live with a roommate or with parents or a significant other. She may be nagging you. He may be nagging you. You gotta say fuck him, fuck her too. With love, but you have to be detached because, like I said, I'm alone 24/7. I used to be popular and everything. I used to make time for friends and all that good stuff. Nobody's here anymore, bro. So, at the end of the day, and nobody checked on me either. If you want to be gangster, my mom's birthday was yesterday. Not a single person. Not a single person checked on me. Not a family member. Not a friend. Not a church member. Even the bishop didn't check on you. That's deep, right? Yeah. And they love you though. You know what I mean? They love you and everything. But it's just you get to a certain level where you have to leave everybody behind and you got to stand on some crazy shit, whether you look crazy or not. But as long as it's the truth, though. I'm not talking about what you believe. I'm talking about the truth. Whether it's like the shitty, the shitty gritty. You know what I mean? The dark parts. So, like I said, another chaotic area. That's family, friends, kids, everybody, every single person. Because they're distracting you, believe it or not. Every single person. Another light. This may be, since it's blue, sure. This represents us. Like sadness and everything. And you get overwhelmed. Like this is, like some people actually feel this color. When you're walking around, some people actually feel this. There's a movie called That's why I love Disney so much. They don't make movies like this anymore. It's called Inside Out, the first one, not the second one. I recommend. I was gonna do a video on all Disney movies, my favorite Disney movies, because a long time ago those movies had a lot of meaning in it, even the modern ones. But Inside Out, it showed all our emotions that's in our head. It's so good, and I recommend that. It showed the emotions of like a girl in middle school, and she was moving to San Francisco or whatever, and during that time she was having like a lot of emotions. So they showed like the emotions of sadness, anger, happiness, nervousness, anxiety, all that stuff. And like I said, you have to get all that stuff under control. And like I said, if we don't sit with ourselves, it it will go unchecked and we'll start crashing out, if you will. That's the definition, crashing out. And like I said, if people crash out, there's a lot of people in jail right now serving 20 something years because they didn't have this video, bro. It's wild as shit. I'm trying not to get emotional, but that shit is wild as shit. You know? So like I said, we're gonna cut off these lights and we're gonna get started. So like I said, this represents all our emotions and our chaotic life. Y'all hear that silence? That's the silence at the highest forms. A lot of people can't get this, believe it or not. Even when you live with people. So that's why I recommend doing this at 2 in the morning, and it's spiritual time too. So like this is when you'll have favor on yourself to do this stuff at this time. You'll have a lot of epiphanies and everything. Okay, so this, as you can see, I did all the lights. Everything's cut off except for this one. This will be the final one, so y'all can see me and all that type of stuff. So yeah, like I said, that represents our mind. So we cut everything off. So this is the final thing you're gonna do. I'm not gonna cut off this light yet, but pretty much you're just gonna do this. You could either sit on the floor, or get a chair, or just sit on the couch, and just sit there. I'm gonna sit down on the floor because there's spiritual things in that. So hopefully it don't fall. All right, yo, it went over that 30-minute mark, and I can only shoot 4 GB videos, so it is what it is. We're gonna keep going. The fact still remains though. So, like I said, everything's nice and quiet. You wouldn't be talking around this time. You'll be just chilling and just sit here. You have to sit here. You have to sit here just like this for at least an hour. Just sit here. And I know that sounds extremely boring, and I know that sounds boring and a waste of time, but if you let your mind just relax, you'll literally you'll feel your mind reset. You'll feel your mind and body feel completely at ease. You're pretty much getting your bearings together, if y'all know what that means. It's pretty much just connecting yourself. Matter of fact, I was gonna say it's like connecting to a Bluetooth. It's like connecting to life. You'll pretty much be in the present. Because a lot of us during the pandemic, we got not but we got, I'm gonna say the word shell shocked. Y'all can search that definition of it. It's when you pretty much get hit so hard you really can't even, and you got whiplash. That's the word. And we've been flowing since 2018, and we never really got to stop with ourselves and really got to sit down and say, wow, that's been a lot that happened. Because like I said, I haven't made the top video yet, but It's a lot of things that happen, and a lot of people don't know what's going on. So like I said, you'll just be right here. I'm sitting Indian style. I'm sitting crossed, like applesauce position or whatever y'all call it. So like I said, you wouldn't have a camera or anything. You'll just be sitting. It'll be quiet, and you'll be alone, and you'll be just here. You actually, matter of fact, you should do this in a dark room. It should be dark, because if you had the light on, you could still see things. So your mind still may be racing. It may be like, oh, I gotta clean, or you know, because if we don't have a clean environment, that's why I became something called a minimalist. Before I became a goblin, I was a minimalist. Like my room was completely blank. Like there was no TV, there was no nothing. It was only the essentials. It would be my desk, paper, a pen, the book I was reading for that time, and that's it. That was all that was in my room, and then clothes, of course. But yeah. So like I said, and I recommend doing all that stuff. Like I said, there'll be will we continue making videos. But like I said, at this time you'll just be sitting there silent, just like this. And you'll probably think, oh, this is dumb. You'll probably think you probably look stupid. But you're literally supposed to be doing this. Like everybody should do this at least once in their life. And really, I recommend doing this for 8 hours straight. But that's hard to do for a lot of people. That just sit in this one position and be completely silent. But I do recommend it if you can. It's very very hard to do, and it's good discipline. If you could achieve that, you can achieve half forms of discipline. So like I said, you'll be also sitting up straight too. If you want, you can slouch, which is cool, and you can just relax. You can just it's pretty much like throwing in the towel, if you will. It's like when you're burnt out, it's just so peaceful. It's pretty much you're pretty much at the end of your rope, you know. So just sit here for as long as you need until you say, okay, I'm good. Well, because you're gonna say, okay, I'm good immediately, because you're not gonna want to do this. But I'd say do this for at least 30 minutes. It's gonna feel awkward. It may hurt a little bit, but it's helping you. You know what I mean? Because like I said, it's nothing. It's just you're just sitting down, just letting your mind wander. Because our minds are so chaotic. Because I be seeing my dad and my stepmom now. They be watching TV and shit. All they do is have the TV on. Even when they're at work, they have either the radio flowing or the TV flowing, because they hate that silence, because their mind and everything is there be stuff coming to them. They be hitting their mind, whether it's memories, trauma, things they're trying to suppress, things in themselves, and all that type of stuff. So like I said, if you can't do this, it's about 95% certain that you can't live with yourself. I hate to say it like that, but there's something in your mind that you don't want to address. You know what I mean? Whether it's your regrets, your failures, mm, uncomfortable conversations, all that type of stuff. So like I said, you'll just be sitting here, just closing your eyes. But like I said, it'll be dark. So I recommend doing this. They would also call this shadow work. You can search that up. It's when like I said, that's the 8 hours. I've sat in the dark for 8 hours straight, not saying anything, just letting my mind wander. And it's some crazy things. Like I said, it's not you. It's like an antenna. It's like a radio antenna. It's like, like when you're changing the radio station in your car, it's like 95.5, and then you go 96.1 and all that type of stuff. It's that. So you can either decide to do it, or you can resonate with it, or you can let it skip. That's also another reason that's why my hair is like this. As you can see, it's dark. It's completely dark in the house. Remember when I had all the lights on and everything? It's completely silent in the house. Completely. And it's very, very scary and nervous, but it's good for you. It's very, very good. And like I said, I'm a Blackpill channel, so once you learn this stuff, you can't unlearn it. A lot of this stuff is high level knowledge. I'm like, why is the camera moving like that? You know? But but yeah, like I said, you'll be silent completely, listening to your thoughts. But like I said, you're not really supposed to be listening to your thoughts. You're supposed to pass it. You're just supposed to be just here. You're just supposed to just stare off into space type shit. You're supposed to be just looking forward, or you could look around. You can even move around if you want. But as long as everything's quiet and you're not trying. You know what I mean? It's supposed to just be this. Doesn't it look like the camera moving a little bit? But yeah, like I said, it'll be nice and quiet. And like I said, it may get overwhelming too. It's kind of like I said, you may get scared, or because some people are scared of the dark, and it's for good reasons because it's. And then a lot of us looked at a lot of horror movies, a lot of horror movies growing up. You know what I mean? So, like I said, it's 4 in the morning. I just heard a car go by. I'm like, it's already what's the name? People still on the move. So like I said, and if you really wanna see what your mind is doing, you can close your eyes and you can breathe while doing this. Like you can be slouching and all that type of stuff. So you can close your eyes and inhale for 30 seconds. Well, not 30 seconds, well, 20 seconds. So let's do it. Close eyes, slouch position, completely relaxed and lazy. Actually, I wouldn't recommend for 10 seconds. I mean, 20 seconds because that's kind of hard to do. So just breathe all the way in. You know what I mean? So just breathe all the way in, then exhale slow. And you should literally feel your mind like being like tingly. Like every time you inhale for a long time, then exhale. It should be, you should literally feel this stuff. Like it's not, it's not pseudoscience or nothing. It's like literally you should be feeling decompressing, and like you should literally feel a difference immediately. Especially if you haven't, especially if you had a chaotic day, like let's say you had a long day after work. Actually, I recommend that too. If you did this at the work, you'll really feel that shit. Like all the stuff that happened throughout the day, it'll be like, wow, boom, that happened, that happened, that happened, that happened, that happened. And doing that, it'll make you stop thinking about it, because there's probably a reason why you're thinking about it. It's probably either traumatized you or it made you feel some type of way, and you never really got to address it, or you didn't call that person out at the time, so you kind of kicking yourself about it. You know what I mean? And like I said, the time is about 4 o'clock. So it's peaceful. If there's people up at this time in your house, that's not going to work, yes, that's pretty wild. You know. And making noise, that's pretty wild. And you should probably tell them cut it out. So like I said, you should be doing this around 2 in the morning to about 4:30. Because this time you shouldn't be eating breakfast. You shouldn't be thinking, oh, I got to get ready for work. It's way too early. Like I said, you got to make the sacrifice to do this. Because right now, in my routine, I would have been meditating right now. I would have been meditating and praying, which I'll be showing in my routine. And then this is also for the gamers too. Like if you really wanted to play video games and shit, if you need a time to play video games, this is a perfect time. And this is where the top comp is right now. Especially on Rainbow Six and Call of Duty. And like I said, I did this for 8 hours straight before in a dark room. And it's called shadow work. If you search it up on Google, it'll tell you the definition. But it's really working yourself out though. It's your shadow. So like, see, I'm all black right now. You can call it the shadow, if you will. So, and you're pretty much just getting all this stuff out. Because eventually you shouldn't really have a chaotic mind. Like I don't have any thoughts right now. It's not, my mind isn't well, I'm flowing with the speech, but my mind isn't like, oh, I got to do this or I got to get ready for work. Because I have to be somewhere at 6:30 in the morning. But you don't see me like, oh, I gotta, you know what I mean? You know, because y'all still didn't hit the Cash App, so I still got to go make money. So like I said, do this in a dark room. For if you want the highest, the best possible outcome, do this for 3 hours straight. You don't have to sit down, but I recommend still staying in the room quiet, like you can walk around. Now, I wouldn't recommend moving stuff around though. Don't do stuff, because you're gonna defeat the purpose. So that's why I recommend just sitting down. But a lot of people can't sit down for a long time. I can't, but you know. But that's that anxiousness. And our physical bodies is literally, we can't really sit down for that long. So and I'm pretty sure at this point y'all mind's been like random thoughts has popped up. They call them, oh, that's the word, intrusive thoughts. That's the word. Like the random thoughts in your mind where it's just like when you're sitting like this and it's just things just coming up. You know, it'd be like random shit. And like I said, it's not you. It's just that's what your brain does. That's something outside of you. Like I said, because we're more than these two eyes, we're more than this brain, we're more than this body, we're more than our careers. Believe it or not, we're even more than our religions. You know, because even our religions hold us back. That's why it's important to follow every single religion, whether they correlate or not. Because like I said, a lot of these religions they're here to help, but not help you ascend. You know what I mean? Because you get to a certain point, you just like you know. And then a lot of religions are hiding their stuff at college, believe it or not, and they call it theology. I can't even take that class because it's like $20,000 or something. So there's a lot of high level knowledge in those classes that these pastors and elders are teaching that they learned, and they're not telling nobody. They're just giving you they giving you the watered down stuff. That's like somebody that's like somebody having a glass of apple juice with ice in it. They drinking a nice cool glass of apple juice, and then they hand you a red plastic cup of watered down apple juice. It's already melted ice and everything. You know what I mean? They drinking it, and not only that, they're drinking the good apple juice. You know what I'm saying? They're not drinking the store brand, like the Giants Essentials type thing. You know what I mean? Like they'll give us Giant Essential apple juice while they drinking what's the brand, Motos or something. You know what I mean? Not saying that's the pinnacle, but that's just a brand name apple juice. Yeah. Or yeah. They'll be drinking Sprite and they'll give you Sierra Mist type shit. Or they'll be drinking Coca Cola and they'll give you Coke Zero type. You know what I mean? All right. So I believe y'all get the gist of the video, though. Pretty much just sitting in silence with yourself and don't say a thing either. Well, you could say something, but I don't recommend reacting to it because I believe that's also trying to hinder us. Our old selves are trying to hold us back. Maybe it may be called the shadow self. You know what I mean? Our shadow self, like this. You see how it's all black right now? See how that's like how I'm not showing my face, not on purpose. It's the lights off. But see how y'all can't see me, but y'all can see my silhouette. Let's say that's representing my old self, and me talking right now is my new self. This is the point that y'all can ascend right now, but the shadow is y'all holding yourselves back. For example, let's say how I'm in the shadow right now. Let's say that's me saying, "Oh, don't feel like doing this." Like you could be watching TV right now. You could be watching YouTube, what you're doing right now, but you could be watching another video. You could be watching fucking I Show Speed or some dumb shit. Not saying that his content is bad, but he could be doing more instead of just walking around and doing backflips and all that bullshit. Running around. But like I said, I think the video is probably 50 minutes now. So, but yeah, that's all I want to share. I just want to make this video. So, like I said, I would call this, if life gets too overwhelming, just watch this video. Because hopefully this should help. This should help everybody. If this didn't help you, I recommend at least researching it and doing the science because it's the truth, though. Like I hope I represented it correctly. Like I said, you'll be completely silent. Like I said, it's this 4 o'clock in the morning. It's usually like an animal or something back there, like a deer, like a group of deer, but they chilling. It's probably too cold, or they probably in another neighborhood. A long time ago, I used to, what would I do? I put out like bread or whatever for like I don't know if deer eat bread, but I used to leave like little food items for them. But my dad said don't do that shit because they attracting animals and all that, and I agree. Because sometimes I like to be outside during this time. Like for example, right now it'd probably be. I meant to tell you about that. The stars, they were moving and everything. I got to see the stars move, and we had the crest moon out. It was like the skinny. It was the skinny moon that looks like a I hate to say like a smiling face, but it's like a hook. It looks like a C. Yeah, and sometimes you go outside around this time, you'll see the stars just flowing, and then some stars are brighter than others. Like it'll be like five good stars out, and they'll be shining. Like it's so wild. Like it's just shining. I can't even. I probably could get it on camera, but it's like it looks like a diamond. And I think that's probably where y'all probably heard that song by Rihanna called "Shine Bright Like a Diamond." That's literally how it looked, how the stars look. And around this time, this is like if you catch it, it's still too early. But this is the time where those stars will be out. It's like about five good stars out, and sure, I'll talk about it since I got time. Those stars, they might be actually portals to another universe, or like I think those are actual beings trying to communicate with us. So if we stare long into those things, they'll probably talk to us and all that. Because I'm pretty sure we shine just like that to them. You know what I mean? And like I said, this is a spiritual time, so this is when the spiritual realm is closest at its highest form. You know what I mean? So yeah, though. But like I said, I'm just chilling. But, like I said, you'll be nice and quiet and completely at peace. And like I said, this feeling may get overwhelmed for people because even I get overwhelmed with this because it's kind of like I said, it's completely dark. It's silent. It's kind of scary, if you will. But if you know, like once you're, that's the thing about experience. Once you realize that this stuff is helping you, it's like okay, you can kind of relax and calm down. You know, because like I said, we've been fed a lot of, this is the word I want to say, but I'll say propaganda, which is to make you feel some type of way, to force you to feel some type of way. It's like they're trying to portray a certain message to you. Like for example, propaganda would be an example of the dark being scary. You know what I mean? Because then you'll think, oh, a ghost and all that type of stuff, which it is, but it's not. It's not like how y'all think. You know what I mean? But yeah, though. And like I said, this is stuff that everybody can do. This is stuff for seniors. This is for the youth, middle age, everybody. Because like I said, our minds are so chaotic that just happens, and it's good to let it all decompress. Like by the time your mind is done with all this, it shouldn't be flowing. You know, and this is supposed to be when you're saying pretty much, okay, I'm rejuvenated and I could go back into the world. This is pretty much leaving every single thing behind. I'm not saying break up with your partner. I'm not saying neglect your kids. I'm not saying disconnect from family. I'm just saying you have to save yourself, you know? Because as you can see, they didn't teach you this. It's a lot of stuff that our people are supposed to tell us, and they're hiding information from us, trying to oppress us, whether it's for good or for bad. You know what I mean? All right. So I don't want to make these videos too long, but y'all pretty much get the gist of what I'm saying. Pretty much detach from every single aspect of your life. It is the best way to do it. So if you really want a definition for this, you can call it shadow work. Just go on Google and type in shadow work. And like I said, at the highest forms, you can do this for 8 hours straight. You don't have to sit down, but I recommend sit down for as long as you can. I recommend sitting down for as long as you can, and then just to get your body good. Just not what's the word? And not then that stress your body out. Cause all I did was I sat in the same position, cross-legged, back straight, and I just sat there. Cause sometimes it's good to not to close your eyes. It's good to just sit in the dark like this. Cause like I said, if you have the light on, I was just hearing stuff. I was just hearing stuff flowing. But well, I forgot what. Oh, like I said, if you get to sit in the dark like this, it doesn't hurt your eye. It doesn't put stress on your eyes. Because like when we have our rooms and everything, we can still see stuff. So our brain is still processing information. You know. That's why I like to have minimalist. That's why I like to have minimalism in my room, because it's that's the word, overstimulating. We have a lot of stuff in our room. That's why I don't like decorations and all that type of stuff. Like I appreciate it and everything, but seeing that stuff every day is kind of, when you get to a certain level of burnt out and overwhelming, all that stuff starts to hurt. You know what I mean? Like music and talking, moving around, just having these items in your just in the room. Because like if you want to, like you're supposed to blank off in space from doing this. That's why I like for it to be dark. I'd rather for it to be pitch black, but for video purposes, y'all gotta see me. You know. Because originally it's supposed to look like, it's supposed to be like this in your room while your eyes are open. And this will also make your eyes be better. It'll give you better vision in the dark. It will literally give you night vision. I'm pretty sure this is what people do in the military. Like they're outside at night and just training their eyes like at the highest forms. Especially snipers and all that type of stuff. So, but yeah, y'all get the gist though. Hopefully I helped a lot of people with this video. Like I said, watch the video in its entirety. I know the videos are extremely long, but as y'all can see, the videos are worth it. And hopefully I'm helping people. Nobody's in the comment section, which is understandable. I don't comment either, but it would be nice if I helped people out, and it's good motivation. I saw 2 likes or whatever, so that's good. That's very, very motivating. I know that doesn't sound like anything, but for a channel like this, the fact that people are viewing it is good. But if it was like the real, like if it was like the highest forms of truth, which I thought it was the highest forms of truth, I like where it's so much the truth that y'all have no choice but to say thank you. You know what I mean? That's why a lot of people make music and all that type of stuff, because people really appreciate it. Because a lot of people don't like knowledge and all that stuff. A lot of people don't like to ascend because it's too hard, and like I said, once you learn it, you can't unlearn it, and then it starts to kind of hurt. It kind of hurts to be smart sometimes, But that's why when you're actually smart, you know how to control it. And it's also good to have other intelligent people in your circle that make sure you're good and have quality advice like this. Because a lame nigga would have been like, "Oh, you're burnt out. Let's go party," or
go shopping or go on a vacation. And those things are good, but those are kind of rewards. That's not resetting your mind. It will reset your mind, but not like something like this. This is kind of like the this is like going to surgery. Like this is something that you got to be like really technical in your psychology to do. Because like I said, we don't get time to do this, so you can't really stop time like that. Me doing this video, I'm pretty much stopping time, so you can have this opportunity to do this. And really, if it's, I recommend doing it right now. I recommend, if you want, stop every single thing that you're doing and do this. Just so, because once you do it, you'll be like, whoa, this is what I was missing out on. Like I feel nice and calm, and I don't have that go hustle mentality. And then a lot of y'all drink coffee too, so if y'all.
Hey, let me show y'all an example of a horror movie real quick. Like while I was doing this, right? This was this should be tripping me out. I remember the movie. Have you ever seen the movie The Nun? Like this, look at this shit. while I was uh while I was just right here, this was in the dark, just sitting. And don't that shit look scary? That looks like somebody was just chilling with me. You know what I mean? It's just a fucking the coat. But see, that's that once again the chaotic mind and all that type of stuff. But once you don't have fear and everything, it's like you kind of okay. But remember I was talking about how I was at heights. Remember I was talking about at heights and everything. I got that feeling. I started having that feeling, that anxiety feeling, that scary feeling. You know what I mean? That feeling of like, oh shit, you know. That's that primal fear. You know what I mean? That's when you see like a lion, you're fucked, or a polar bear or some shit. You know what I mean? But like I said, I got to this point where I'm not really. I don't fear. I don't have fear. I don't have anxiety. I'm not nervous or nothing. Especially as a man, as a top tier man, you're supposed to not be scared of those type of things. You're supposed to fight that stuff head on. You know what I mean? But yeah, though. So that's the end of the video. The video went off because, like I said, it's 30 minutes and only 4 gigabytes of it. So, like I said, if y'all ever get lost, look at this video. Let's get into the higher realms now. Let's drip. Love you all. Peace.